the successes created dopamine hits, and you get addicted to the dopamine. You get addicted to the success. Being very specific on what they wanted the outcomes to look like, and goal setting through affirmations and visualization. He started to use what he was learning in this accreditation course on his football team, on these young kids. And they were the bottom dwellers. They stunk. All of a sudden, the next year, they win the state championship. Not only did they win games on the football field, but they were cleaning up their room when they were told. They were getting better grades. They were being nicer to their siblings. I've got control of my mind based on, if I choose to, put our brain under a PET scan, CAT scan, functional MRI, and see that based on our synaptic firings, we can change our brain, neuroplasticity. All that wasn't known then. But what was known then was this burgeoning field of, no, you got to think about what you're thinking about. Our brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and the actual experience. So you can practice something in your mind's eye and you'll drive that same neural change as if you went through the exercise physically.
Sure. Okay, we are back with another episode of the BLTNT podcast. We've been on a little hiatus here. Haven't shot a whole lot of new episodes lately, but I'm here with my friend Mark Panciera.
I'm honored then.
Yeah.
The re-kickoff.
Yeah, you're like the rebirth.
There you go.
Yeah. Now our fans,
as long as it's not painful.
Our fans, they wouldn't notice the difference because we had a backlog. We had a lot of episodes shot that just didn't get out yet. But so Mark is a really interesting guy. Mark is a TEDx speaker with over 1.5 million views, probably even more because we introduced you to a couple hundred people yesterday who probably hit the YouTube for you. Author, speaker, Vistage speaker, caregiver. I mean, just so many different levels, and we like to talk about the levels that you've kind of gone through, the versions that you've gone through.
Talk about rebirths.
Yeah. You've been born again 3 different times.
Press reset 3 different times, and still pressing, Matt.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to share you with others because you just bring this abundance mindset, this just ball of energy, this transformation mindset, and just, I mean, you're there to care, you're there to teach, you're there to help, and just I love it.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. The reason you're here and not in sunny Florida is not because you enjoy our terrible weather right now.
It was 0 on the car thermometer this morning. I took a picture, sent it to my wife. It was 0. There is a 0?
There's actually negatives. Okay, and so there are negatives. I'm surprised it didn't get into that, but yeah, so we're shooting this in January. We just actually had, the day before we're shooting this, we just had our Kickstart 2026 event.
Fabulous.
And Mark was one of our keynotes.
Yeah, special opportunity.
So we're we're just squeezing every ounce of juice we can get out of you.
Put me in, coach.
I love it. Yeah, thanks, man. But do you ever get tired?
I think somebody introduced me yesterday as the Energizer Bunny. I'm just so energized by this information that we'll be talking about today. Rarely do I get tired based on this. This is a passion project of mine. So no, I don't get tired as long as I'm sharing the good news.
That's awesome. And the news that he's sharing, I'll give a little background.
Please.
We met, you were a speaker at a professional group that I belong to in the Vistage network. And you were a speaker, and you came in and you did the talk called Mindset Matters.
Yes, correct.
Which you also modify into keynotes, TED Talks, etc.
Yeah.
And so that's what you were doing with us yesterday.
From 20 minutes to 2 days, Mindset Matters, the art and science of peak performance.
Love it. And hacking your mind is what you told us.
That is it. It's true.
And you did it.
It's true. Yeah.
I got so many texts and calls about you. And
it just warms my heart.
Did. So
thank you.
You do great work. So I want to walk through, and maybe I'm going to give people. Should I give people a little bit of a preview of the V's of the versions that we've had of you?
Yeah, please do. Sneak preview. Spoiler alert.
Grew up in a family business of funeral directors.
Yeah. Born and raised, 3rd generation.
3rd gen. Then moved on to purchase an organization of professional development.
Yeah, organizational development company.
Called the Pacific Institute.
Yes, sir.
Which did some amazing things.
Yeah,
and you better talk about Saban. Otherwise,
you forced me to do that
yesterday. We'll paste it in. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then kind of like a V2.5, you became a Vistage speaker or took your took your learnings and everything from Pacific Institute and started to mold it into a talk. That's when you did the TED Talk and did all that sort of stuff.
And we'll go deeper to 2.5. You just illuminated that for me because I didn't view it as that, but yeah, it was a bridge, and law of unintended results, all of a sudden we're together. But 2.5 wasn't even planned. Actually, our founder, the Pacific Institute's founder, just providing a little color, Lou was he was the talent, if you will. He was the icon for the Pacific Institute. And God rest his soul, he passed away in 2012, but no one was to upstage Lou. I mean, he was the iconic figure. And we all knew that. I was even concerned about doing my TED Talk. Lou was still alive.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah. And I just stayed somewhat in the... No, he had passed by then, but you know, the what is it, the image or the persona still lived. But yeah, we all just lived sort of in the shadows because you didn't want to get too far ahead of Lou as it related to, you know, developing a persona or a stature out in the speaker world or in the organizational development world via the Pacific Institute to ever, you know, throw a pall over his persona, if you will.
Sure.
And so the Vistage piece was more of figuring out next steps for me in order to advance the cause of the Pacific Institute. Lo and behold, you know, it was a means to a great end, if you will. Mark 3.0.
And Mark 3.0 is you've got a book coming out.
Yeah.
You're doing far more of the speaking engagements.
Yeah.
You're being brought in for professional development as yourself, and not as just the
Panciera.com.
Not just as the Pacific Institute, which you're still
investor,
affiliated.
Owner, absolutely, on the board of directors of the Institute. But now it's more about a themed version of Mark Panciera still delivering this great news, if you will, this organizational development curriculum.
That's fantastic.
To really nurture leaders to be their best selves and illuminate the potential in others. But doing it in a very, very personalized way through my own story.
Do you want to talk about, you want to go through and just maybe explain kind of what, you know, how these things, these are transitions, right?
Truly.
And you know, the funeral director to the Pacific Institute is probably the strangest, if you will, or the most disruptive, if you will, because the others have seeming other common themes. But maybe talk about that first one, but and you know, I love multi-part questions and zigzagging here a little bit, but something you said that I want to make sure we touch on is that CEO Lou, right, the founder, and how tough it was to kind of replace that, you know. And so we all think about creating scalable businesses and things of that nature, and how do we replace ourselves? And you, as a part of that organization and part owner of that organization, actually had difficulty with
insights.
that. So
yeah,
I'd love to talk about that, or I'd love to go through the history. I'm going to let you decide.
Sure,
what we do.
And they're both absolutely related. Great insights, by the way. Because
actually, me knowing your full history, I actually think this is kind of like a theme where you had some training in that. I mean, the family business, right there, that's a tough one. How do you take over from dad? How do you take over from grandpa? How do you become the face of the place? And then the same thing happened in your Pacific Institute.
I was born and raised in funeral service and actually grew up in a funeral home.
Your bed was a casket?
Darn close. My buddies, my friends used to tease me about that. But all kidding aside, I grew up as a caregiver and never really knew it. It was part of my DNA, part of the family DNA. And I was third generation. My grandfather began the Panciera Funeral Home in Westerly, Rhode Island. And since we have a little time here, I'll give you the non-truncated, non-summary version of the story. He emigrated from Italy, and he was a bricklayer. But at night, he was the town undertaker, if you will. Okay. And that's how it was in Italian Catholic communities. It was very specific to, you know, usually your lineage, if you will, and your religious affiliation. Interestingly enough, back in the late 50s, my grandfather and his sons identified Hollywood, Florida, as a place to transplant the Panciera Funeral Home. Why? Because they saw a lot of Italian Catholics moving to South Florida. And beyond land crabs and palmetto bushes in Hollywood, Florida, I think there were about 3 or 4 people who lived there. And by the way, Hollywood is a coastline community in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, for those of you who don't know. But he just said there's a lot of Italian Catholics down there, and we go down there and winter, and we noticed that they need a funeral home. So all of a sudden they planted one down there in 1962. 3 months before I was born. So I truly was born into the family business. 1962 was my year of birth, and so was it. And so was it for the funeral home. So fast forward, that's all I remembered. And I remember also, though, having a little movie, a 8-track movie kind of thing made when I graduated from nursery school. And I was the only kid in nursery school who stood up in front of the audience and said, when I grow up, I want to be a funeral director, just like my dad. What's up with that? No fireman, policeman, nurse, school teacher. I want to be a funeral director. And so fast forward, I became just that. Went to college and got an advanced degree, and just was very proud of being able to carry on the family legacy. Lo and behold, though, later on in my career, I ended up on third base. We were using a sports metaphor. We were very successful. I had 4 or 5x'd the family business because I purchased it from my parents in 1992. But then I said, okay, I'm on third base. Things are grand here, but I didn't hit the triple, continuing with sports metaphor. And I said to myself, if I wasn't born into this family, would I have really made it this far? Granted, I went from one location to several locations. I expanded into the Hispanic market, created a funeraria, Panciera, very, very, very rich Hispanic community there, and our Italian last name sort of married well with that population. I built a memorial store, a discount funeral store before its time. I was covered in national news for this cutting edge kind of approach to the marketplace with people moving towards cremation. And so I felt as though I was on a growth edge, but still there was something missing. And I said to myself, what might that be? Fast forward, as I was advancing the family business cause, little did I know that it actually was running against popular opinion as it related to making my father proud. It was actually controverting the belief that, my gosh, my dad should be very, very proud of me about this. And I started to question myself as my father became a bit resistant to all of this, all these growth plans and the professional journey and just growing beyond his wildest imagination and expectations. So it became a bit contentious, and I'm going down this path because I believe it'll help our listeners, your listeners. Sure. Because at times the best thing and the worst thing in a family business is the family, and you really need to navigate those emotions better than I did. Because in retrospect, I realized I was on the wrong side of ego, and I just became very dogmatic as it relates to my way or the highway kind of an approach, and instead of wanting to remain in the relationship, I wanted to be right. So I focused on being right versus in the relationship, and it became contentious over time and caused a bit of disparity between him and I. Worse than that, but we don't need to go that deep into it. And in the process, I brought the Pacific Institute into the company that I eventually led, and now I'm in the CEO Emeritus of. I brought the Pacific Institute into our grief recovery program called Wings of Hope because we were launching a program that was really cutting edge across the industry, going beyond just being transactional and funeral service and delivering grief care after the loss, supporting people after the death of their loved one. And, marrying up the two as it relates to Mark 2.5 or Mark 2.0, there's no pain in the boardroom that any organizational leader will ever feel, like the pain in a funeral home. Yeah. Like the pain when somebody goes through a loss of a loved one, no matter the circumstances.
Sure.
And we'll come back to when I'm writing my book on it a bit. But I just feel very equipped to deal with organizational change because when you change the human condition, you create loss. and I understand how to navigate those, those progressive feelings afterwards.
Well, and I know that you're equipped. From my seat, what I always get to witness, and this is such a beautiful thing as people are telling their story, is you're uniquely qualified to be doing exactly what you're doing.
Isn't that wild?
Right at this moment. I say it every time. It always rings true.
Thank you, Matt.
And the funny thing also is just also the timeliness of some of your message here of working in the family business. So one of the attendees at our event yesterday actually said, hey, me and a couple of other guys who are in these family or multi-generational businesses are looking to set something up. And actually our president has run a couple of different groups in her past. So she's a PhD in business administration, business management, and really astute in terms of business psychology as well. And she has run a few different groups for multi-generational organizations and dealing with that. And so, here you are, example of that as well. I've had experience in it as well. And so I think very apropos that you would bring this up and that this would be part of your journey and your story.
Thank you, Matt. And I'm okay bringing it up because for so many years I really tamped it down. It was part of my. I lived it subconsciously because I ruminated over the focus on being right versus being in the relationship. It doesn't have to be that way though. Mm-hmm. And I broke that cycle, that generational cycle, and certainly it doesn't exist with my 3 children, and my marriage just doesn't exist in my life anymore. Mm-hmm. However, it was then, it's just no longer. But to the point, when I brought the Pacific Institute in to help us launch this grief recovery program, I realized what I was missing, and that was, the message that I could change my mind. I could literally change my mind in a way that would transform my future. I just didn't have to have today look like yesterday and tomorrow look like today, because I realized that the more I was attempting to make the family proud, it was creating a chasm. It was creating a divide. Yeah. It doesn't have to be that way. It was just, that was the way it was playing out in my life. Other family businesses, oh my gosh, and I'm sure that individual that you just mentioned, there's a lot of great success stories. I have a success story in a family business now, but I needed to go through that pattern interrupt.
Sure.
And God rest my father's soul. I prayed to him all the time. We had incredible reconciliation before he passed away in 2017.
I was actually going to ask you that and understand, was forgiveness part of this freedom
Absolutely.
In the mindset?
Absolutely. But it happened not in a mortal way. There was an acceptance, but the transcendence happened after his passing, after his death. And I'm just so glad about that, because I have no feelings of remorse. Let me back up. I don't have any guilt. I don't have any guilt. Feelings of remorse for time wasted, absolutely, but not any guilt. Fast forward, though, I was so glad that my father gave me the intestinal fortitude, the moxie, the resolve to burn the boats. That's a Cortez saying, right? The explorer that I believe he was an explorer and ended up on the shores of Mexico from Spain. And everybody boss, they're shooting at us over here. The indigenous folks are shooting arrows at us, and there's big flies. I want to go home. No, burn the boats. We're not going home. We're not going. And so it's my father's resolve that allowed me to burn the boats on that career. I brought my wife in to run that business, and then I chased after this concept of mindset. And I just immersed myself in it. Why? Not for business enterprise purposes, but because I needed the healing. Mm-hmm. Because I needed
it just so happened to be kind of one of those experiences where you learn it, you do it, and then you teach it
without question.
So this is what you're doing.
That's exactly right. So I'm trying to weave together you answer multi-dimensional question, but then fast forward 2.0, join the Pacific Institute, move up through the chain of command. Our founder passes away, and I took the helm through COVID. And my word, we had to go through a huge transformation at that point. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were all books and tapes, high touch. All of our contracts get canceled March of 2020. I didn't even know how to spell Zoom at that point. And we were still very, very analog, and we just had to become digital in a flash. And we did that, and now we have everything is digitized. All of our curriculum, mm-hmm. We've got incredible consultants.
You've actually let me start running through the program.
Thank you. Invent your future.
I'm a couple steps in.
Yeah, beautiful.
So
Glad to hear that. And that's a program that was precipitated, catalyzed because of the forcing function of COVID. But we had either the company was there was no reason for the company to die. Right. I'll just use the term. There was no reason for it because it has such great history. But I did my best to lead it through. I had great partners, but a lot of cataclysmic changes that had to occur because it was a family business as well, without a succession plan, and that could spell the death of or the demise.
And so my understanding is that it ended up in the estate of Lou.
Yes.
Right. And and his wife. Did his wife
Diane survived Lou. Yes.
Okay. And so then she was part of the. Made sure that it got sold to the right person,
we had to, and it was myself and a couple of other partners. Yeah, we coordinated the plan with Diane. She died not because of COVID, but during that episode in our history. But took care of all the heirs. Everything was, and we then, instead of it being a side hustle for us, we then took it very seriously as it relates to this company is not only going to survive, but it's going to thrive. And now we are the next iteration of it, yes, after its founder and after me, because I then replaced myself with Richard Resnick, who's a fabulous leader.
Yeah, we're going to be sharing some of the stuff that he's actually written, really advancing the organization on the AI and all of that stuff, and I'll mention that a little bit later.
But, to close the point, and it's somewhat of an epitaph of mine, what got us here was going to keep us here.
Yep.
So many, and the title of the book is "What Got Us Here Won't Get Us There." I believe that's Marshall Goldsmith's book. Yes, maybe. But I just embraced the whole notion of what got us here, what got us here, me, Pacific Institute, was going to keep us here. It was time for me to release. It was time for me to move on and create this 3.0. Going back to your point about joining Vistage and becoming a speaker, that was that weird area. That was that weird period of time. And I liken it to the monkey going from this vine in the rainforest to this vine in the rainforest, and you're in midair. And it's like, whoa, am I to be doing this? So I went deeper into Vistage, but with full consciousness saying, I hope no one's upset because now I'm out here being the advocate for this information, and it's in Lou's wake, but none of us are really supposed to be doing this, but I said, damn the torpedoes. We need to become, people want to do business with people, not corporations. And so that's why I began that journey. Little did I know it would spawn into this.
Great.
I believe I handled all your questions.
I think you did. I don't even have any more. We can just wrap it up. I'm just kidding. The forgiveness as part of your freedom was beautiful. And so thank you for answering that. I have some questions about, as a young guy in the funeral business, think about yourself as Mark Panciera. What are you, 35, 40 years old now?
Twice that. Okay.
63. So Mark Panciera at 63 years old obviously has a different depth to him than Mark Panciera at 33 years old. 33 years old, you're in front of a grieving family and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, walking through the motions in the funeral business, let's say. What's different? Well, first of all, what's in the training of somebody to help them at that point in time to be able to be respectful, empathetic, still strong, and all the other things that you needed to be at that point in time? But then you take the 63-year-old version of yourself, and as you're in, entering the third or fourth quarter of life, you have a different view of life in general.
Yeah.
How do you take the seriousness with which you experience it now and relate it to back then? And how did you deal with all of that?
Yeah, actually, great question. I believe I'm more empathetic now than ever before, and I don't believe it's because of experience or age. I believe I was just more transactional and too transactional then, I must admit. And it was, and I'm just opening my kimono here. I mean, you're trained in the technical aspects of funeral service through mortuary college. It's a degree that in the state of Florida that you must secure, and then it's a state board and it's a national certification.
Okay.
So there is academic rigor without question. When I was coming up through the ranks, there was really no development in the caregiving side of the business,
the behavior
if you will,
side.
in the behavior side.
Yeah.
If anything, we were told to read Kubler-Ross's On Death and Dying, and that's what I'll share about my book in a bit.
Okay.
But just to learn about the stages of grief.
Okay.
Dr. Kubler-Ross researched the stages that one goes through when they are approaching death. And then when the family suffers from the loss of the loved one, what stages did they go through?
Oh, interesting.
So it was less of a discovery, more of an of identifying what those stages might be. So she studied palliative care patients in hospice back in the late 60s. Now, when I was coming up through the ranks, hospice was an unknown quantity, and now with the aging of America, palliative care is it's part of the healthcare system. It's part of the process. And going into hospice doesn't mean that you're going to die. Then it did. So going back to when I was that 35-year-old, by the way, I'm glad I went through male mental pause back in my 30s and I'm through that.
Yes.
And so I'm not dealing with it today. And all of you guys out there who want to talk about that, give me a call because I can share it with you.
Give us a little definition of that.
Well, think about it. I mean,
I'm thinking about it. I want to hear your definition about it.
I want to. Male mental pause is when all of a sudden, I as an undertaker, I drove a fire engine red Corvette with T-tops, man, back in the day, right? And had the Pat Riley look going on. It was. And by the way, I had 3 kids, and in a Corvette, you got one seat, so the kids aren't coming with you because you're not going to pick just one. And are you getting my drift? Do I need to explain it a bit more? That
I
mental
think you
pause.
Should, yeah, just explain it more.
Explain it more. You believe me, down a path of ill repute. But anyway, just think about that. 35 years old.
No, I get it.
And a fire engine red vet, and just going because it was somewhat of therapy. It was self-medication. It was self-medication. And I'm going to leave it there.
The ego there?
Well, on the wrong side of ego, but soothing what I was doing to get through the day. I mean, it's not easy when you are surrounded by, and it's not all natural deaths. It is, you're dealing with moms who might be burying their children after a devastating accident in the pool. I mean, because I'd rather not go deeper than that, but it's just there are devastating losses, not just losses that happen because people get old. So I was transactionally sound and good at what I did, and was clinically empathetic.
Okay.
But how genuine is that's like paradoxical. You're clinically empathetic. How genuine is that? I mean, even saying it doesn't sound that genuine. Now I am empathetic. Now I am genuine. Now genuinely. Now I feel people's pain. I understand because not necessarily. Well, yes, I've been through it. I've been through my own pain, but and here's the drop the mic moment. What I want to do is give people tools in order to navigate that pain. I want to give people tools because the last stage in grief is acceptance. I'd rather replace acceptance with transcendence. You are going to a different place. Even in a mortal way, you have matured beyond. You still might be very, very sad. You're still embracing incredible memories of your loved one. And you are also still celebrating their life. But you are just you've transcended to a place where you can provide consolation to others, where you can give people tools. And I don't like saying that I'm leaving others better than I found them because that connotes that you needed my help. You weren't doing too good till I got here.
Right.
No. I actually embraced the Latin term ad mundum meliorum, towards a better world.
Okay.
Because if I could share some gifts of mental technology, enter the Pacific Institute, how our mind works, the fact that I realized that I could change my mind. And we're not talking about mystical, let's, do a group hug and levitate together here, Matt. It's really how we can change our mind in order to illuminate our own potential, but also to illuminate the potential in others, to bring the best out in others. Thinking about the Army slogan, be the best that you, be all that you can be. Well, that was it for me at that point, and that's when I transcended beyond being on the wrong side of ego. Ego is the enemy. I think that may be a book by a Stoic or Ryan Holiday, but anyway, I just
ego is the enemy. I think was Ryan Holiday's.
Ryan Holiday. Ego is the enemy. I realized in retrospect, I did go through male mental pause, comparing it to what women have to go through just because of the hormonal changes. But men have control, maybe not of their own, maybe not of hormonal changes, but they've got control of their mind. It's not a world of behavioralism, meaning that my mind is controlled by external pressures or external forces.
Well, I think that a lot of times too that people are leveraging the excuse of, oh, well, he's under 25 and so his prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, or other excuses, right? But we still always have the choice to try to engage our higher self and our forward-thinking mind.
Absolutely, and that's the operative word. It's we have choices, and it is our human agency to pick the choices that we believe will best serve us. Best serve ourselves. At times we make the wrong choices. So going back to your question about 35 years old, I was very, very good at transactional empathy. I was very, very growing the funeral home and just loved by the public.
That transactional empathy and loved by the public. So I think what you're saying is you were able to put on a front or a face that the customer, they felt still taken care of, even though maybe you didn't feel it the same way in your heart. Is that what you're trying to say?
I felt it. I didn't know any different.
Okay.
But was it a veneer to protect my own emotions?
Sure.
As it is my obligation to carry on this family business. It is my obligation to be not only a funeral director, but a caregiver to the community. When you are a notable funeral director in a community, you're on all kinds of philanthropic boards. Right. You do all kinds of community service.
You're on display.
Thank you. Better.
And you have all these different layers, though, of the things that you're experiencing. So, I mean, you're experiencing death, and I think this relates to every business leader, if you think about it, right? Or every leader in general on some different front. You had to deal with the fact that you're dealing with death on a daily basis. You're trying to make your family happy. You're trying to grow a business. You're trying to take care of the employees, right? You've got a lot of things going on.
Plus cover payroll on Friday.
Plus cover payroll, plus make sure that all the people that you're in front of, they see the face, right? They see the caring, compassionate face.
You are spot on.
That's a tough one.
Hence the beautiful, matter of fact, it was not only fire engine red, but then when they came out with the Batmobile, I mean the convertible top, all black. Yeah, not a bad thing, but it was a bit of medication to release, and I think you called it, identity, or you called it the mask, or no, you didn't call it the mask, but yes. Doesn't mean I wasn't. Doesn't mean I didn't care.
Correct.
Because I absolutely did.
Well, I think that's the whole point of people in general, right? Is that you have to. You're going through all these things. You have to manage it, and it doesn't mean that you don't care, right? Just because
that's beautiful.
You're taking care of a person who's grieving a loved one, and you have to make payroll.
Yeah.
Right. They both can exist.
My friend, you're spot on, and that's so very good. And during I want to add just one more piece for you. The successes created dopamine hits, and you get addicted to the dopamine. You get addicted to the success.
My wife's accused me of being a dopamine fiend.
Well, that's why I love you, because we're kindred spirits. I mean, you okay with that? With that bromance going on? But during the process,
now that we've both been through, what is it, mental pause?
Mental pause, male mental pause, because it's not menopause. I'll say it. It's not menopause. Right. It's mental pause, right? Okay. It's like, man, you check out. What are you thinking? You ding dong. Okay. In the process, I'm doing pretty cool things in funeral service. Nobody developed a funeraria to appeal to the Hispanic community, but that's where that's the demographic shift. Mm-hmm. Nobody created a memorial store. I was the first of its kind.
What's a memorial store? Explain that.
It is a storefront funeral store. So I created a hub and spoke concept with our traditional funeral home, Panciera Memorial Home, serving the traditional clientele, Italian Catholic, but going much beyond that because the demographics of the community, which but then I established retail operations, the memorial stores by Panciera, to sell less expensive alternatives, or an urn, or a grave marker, or a casket. Walmart started selling caskets after I started selling caskets direct. I gained and I'm on the right side of ego about this because this was 30 years ago, but I gained national prominence. I'm in the Wall Street Journal, on the Wall Street Journal Report. They're flying me to New York to have these things. I mean, it's private equity firms are calling me up to take this thing nationally, right? To start franchising this stuff, okay? I start getting offers to buy my business. It's like, man, it got heady. It got heady. And I'm thinking, man, how proud am I? Dad, look, am I making you proud? How am I doing? It was working. It was a polar opposite reaction because you don't, in my tradition or in my lineage tradition, my generational tradition, you don't outshine those who brought you. As you're sipping the water, don't forget who dug the well. And I don't, but my father felt that I did.
Felt that you did, yeah.
Think about that.
Wow.
When you sip the water, and man, I had the water, the well was pumped, man. It was like, and we're getting national, and I'm on the national media I'm a national media spokesperson for the industry. They want me to become the president of the National Association. It's heady. 3 little kids at home. Wife actually selling pre-need for our business. She's working. I mean, I'm running and gunning and then showing up for Mass on Sunday, looking the part as an usher, passing the basket at church, and everybody's just seeing me, tightened up, looking good.
Got it all together, right?
All together, 24/7, 365. That at some point, there's going to be sand in those gears at some point, and the bearings are going to heat up. Thank gosh, it's when I was introduced to the Institute, because that was my relief valve or my release valve, whatever. And I said, man, I got to chase after that information because I need to eat that dog food, eat my own dog food, and I fell in love with it. And it was so interesting.
That's where you learned it, right?
Without question. And the technical side of how to employ it. Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit. Let's give some story example, because I don't think everybody knows what the Pacific Institute is where it started. But tell some of the stories about Alabama, Saban, why he brought the Institute in, how he met Lou, or how that all kind of transpired, because that to me is a vivid story. It's something people can understand, to go, like, would I ever call the Pacific Institute to do something with my business?
Thank you.
Obviously, like I said, I'm going through the program right now, online. With you guys. And, just tell that, because I've been privy to hearing that, and I feel very fortunate for that.
Thank you, Matt. It's an incredible story. This guy, Lou Tyson, 1971, actually it was pre-1971 because he birthed the business then. But in the late 60s, he was a high school football coach and a gym teacher in Seattle, Washington. And his wife, and he was a teacher, gym teacher, or maybe it was shop. Whatever the case may be, he was he was a teacher, so we could coach football at the high school. Okay. And his wife was an art teacher at this high school in Seattle. In order to get an advanced certification to earn a bit more money as a teacher and a coach, he went to a program at one of the local universities, and it was about cognitive psychology, the opposite of the behavioralist theory, as I mentioned earlier, that you just have you're influenced by all the externalities in the world, and that's why you are the way you are. But there were new teachings and a new directive focused more on internal locus of control. That no, I've got control of my mind based on if I choose to control. If I choose to. And by the way, this is not
the secret.
The secret, yeah. I mean that. And I'm thinking New Age thinking. This
Correct.
Isn't that. This isn't that.
Right.
This is all based on our ability to put our brain under a PET scan, CAT scan, functional MRI, and see that based on our synaptic firings, we can change our brain, neuroplasticity. Okay. All that wasn't known then, but what was known then was this burgeoning field of, no, you got to think about what you're thinking about. Now, I know that sounds a little bit cheeky, But he started to use what he was learning in this accreditation course on his football team, on these young kids. And they were the bottom dwellers. They stunk. All of a sudden, the next year, they win the state championship because of the use of this information.
From zero to hero.
Okay, I love it. I got to use that. I'll send you a check.
Yep,
Zero to hero.
Problem.
But it was because it was being very specific on what they wanted the outcomes to look like. And goal setting through and affirmations and visualization, all that's become somewhat popular now. Okay. Wasn't certainly popular then. Lo and behold, the parents find out, the parents asked Lou what he was doing to their sons, because not only did they win games on the football field, but they were cleaning up their room when they were told. They were getting better grades. They were being nicer to their siblings. And Lou said, "Come on over to my house and let me show you what I got going on."
Okay.
Lo and behold, he lands an opportunity with Boeing. Seattle, that's where Boeing is, but a little group that he went in and trained there, trained some of the folks on staff there. Okay. Happened also with a sales company next, Como News, and then it started to grow in appeal. It went from his garage to becoming an international organization.
Okay.
1971 to the present, multi-billion-dollar organization, coaching leaders, consulting to organizations around the globe, all based on mental technology. Providing people a curriculum with a researched algorithm. I'm using these fancy terms so everybody understands that this is mental technology. This is, if you follow this prescription, if you follow this course, you're going to be able to change your mind, but importantly, become a better leader and impact others in a more profound way.
Sure.
So fast forward, he grows this organization, and clients like University of Alabama football, who was recommended by Pete Carroll, because we worked with Pete Carroll when he was at USC, coach of USC, and we worked with him on inner city youth in East LA, and we got kids to stop killing one another in gang violence. Wow. Okay, because we built efficacy, the belief, we built self-esteem, all based on research. That's Albert Bandura's work out of Stanford, self-efficacy. So we build this self-efficacy, the belief in individuals, and they want to live a better life. So whether it's USC, University of Alabama football, Boeing, we've worked with NASA, we've worked with Caterpillar, on and on we go. And then also, though, with moms and dads and with family businesses, I mean, from one to hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, 7 million people have gone through our education across the globe over the last, 53, 54 years. And now I have the good fortune to be CEO Emeritus of the company.
Well,
did I answer your question?
You answered a bunch of my questions and some that I didn't ask, and that's all good.
Beautiful.
This is how I said,
this is organic.
This is how our conversations, I mean, we've had a number of conversations. This is how they all go.
Yes.
Right? There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I also explained to you that when you get on stage, the laser focus into your material is just uncanny.
Thank you.
And so I think that's really cool. And so I want to dig into your material just a little bit here. You give this equation, I times V to the power of E equals R.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Yeah,
because
I actually can.
There was something you mentioned about the inner city youth.
Yeah.
That really gave me, that's what made me want to open this and bring that up right now. Yeah. Because I think that people in certain situations can never see, can't see a way out, and so I think this adds to that
without
really well.
question.
So explain the equation. We'll put it up on the screen in our production here. And
just to round out that program in East LA, we work with Sheriff Lee Baca, who was the sheriff of the LA County system there, jail system, correct? Because we work in corrections as well, to give people not only tools for change, but to sell in hope in their own mind's eye. So when they get out, they stay out. So it lowers recidivism because they have the belief in themselves that they can make changes. Just like it with the gangs.
But it's also work though too. I mean, this is why not every. I mean, you talk about it, but this is why not everybody. I mean, this is why some people still end up back in.
Absolutely.
This is why we're still, the human condition is still
alive
and well.
Alive and well. Too bad. I mean, that's too bad. Or so sad. Too bad. Agreed. But for those who choose to use it, this formula, simply stated, works. I times V raised to the E power equals R. Imagination times vividness raised to the E power stands for emotion equals R reality. Imagination times vividness with emotion equals reality. The fact is that our brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and the actual experience. Mm-hmm. So you can practice something in your mind's eye and you will drive those same neural synaptic firings, those synaptic firings that are going from those electrical chemical impulses from neuron to neuron. You'll drive that same neural change as if you went through the exercise physically.
Sure.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: Does that play in? I've got a fellow who's going to be joining us, a friend of mine, and one of the things he's going to talk about a little bit is lucid dreaming. You familiar with lucid dreaming?
I know what the words mean, but give me the definition.
I won't do it any justice.
Okay.
Lucid dreaming, though, my understanding is that you awake to a certain consciousness while you're dreaming, and you can control the dream.
I buy that.
And how that plays into the vividness of the imagination, and then actual changes are happening physiologically in the body because of it. So there's some healing that can happen, things of that nature. And so I was just curious. I mean, this tells me that they do correlate.
Okay, they do. The only thing I question is that you can then control the dream. I'm not sure about that piece because all that's happening at the subconscious level, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I just apply this information for changes in life, but more importantly, for business application.
Well, we'll let Todd get into that topic.
Because I'm interested. I'm very interested in how it could. But however, our subconscious works 24/7, 365.
Right.
So the dream state absolutely happens, and I believe in those quantum vibrations. I don't want your audience dogging me though and discounting what I'm going to say.
No.
Because I won't do justice to quantum vibration. But that is real. I mean, brain waves. When people say, "Hey, I feel your vibe," it's real.
For sure.
I mean, I've heard. I've been at
Thought
University
about
of
you when
Pennsylvania.
you called.
Yeah, that's reticular activating system, and we teach about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can set your antenna, your GPS onto what you're looking for to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michael Jordan sat in his airplane seat on the way to games and imagined foul shots over and over again in his mind.
Sure.
So then when he got on the foul line, it had already taken place. So he goes into a state of subconscious competence. So that formula supports what the mind of man can conceive and believe and can achieve. 100 years ago, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Now you can prove it. And this isn't imagination. This isn't Disney World pixie dust, like the Tinkerbell kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is vivid imagery. Very much like, and I shared this yesterday at in the presentation, Michelangelo, and you can fact check me, when he was delivered that block of marble by whoever it was, whether it was a pope. It
was definitely an Italian.
That's too funny. Or the Medici family in Florence, he said, literally, I saw David in that block of marble with that anatomical exactness. And it was my job to chip away the stone and release him. So that is that formula alive back in the 1600s.
Sure.
It's that vivid imagery that you're playing out the scenario, bringing the future into present tense, and that's what provides the formulaic substance, if you will, to how to change your mind. So it's not like The Secret.
So then walk us through, just give a little teaser. When people are in your half-day session, or like they were in our hour and a half session, or hour session yesterday, give us a little bit of a tease of what else comes through that changes the mindset.
Surely. Yesterday, and usually during workshops, I always attempt to deliver substance, make the intangible tangible, go from education to execution, right? And I do my best to keep it tight because, as you can see, as you said, we can talk about this until for a long time and continue. A lot of words, right? Am I at my word count yet?
No, you're fine.
I'm good. I'm teasing.
We charge by the word, so
okay. Then I got a big. I think I got room on my credit card. Swipe the Amex.
We don't charge for this. Just make sure people I don't want somebody to say you charge people to be on that. No, we don't charge.
No. So what I do is make sure I'm delivering on two promises. One is I'm going to provide tools to have people in the audience uncover their blind spots, uncover their blind spots that are holding them back, things that are just missing in plain sight. The cognitive term is their scotomas, things that are right in front of them, they just can't see it. Happens to us naturally. So I promise to deliver how to do that, which we deliver. And then number 2, it's a 2-step process, but within those scotomas, within those blind spots, within those blind spots lie our limiting beliefs, beliefs that are holding us back, beliefs that we have perceived forever. We just think we're born this way and we can't change our mind. Beliefs that are dragging the bottom as an anchor drags the bottom. So I give people the tools to recast their limiting beliefs to liberating ones. Limiting beliefs live in scotomas. I give people tools to hack their mind, to move from limiting to liberating and drive the outward behavior. Because behavior change happens at the belief level. That's my commitment during a 1-hour session, 3-hour session.
And we got the tools. And we're resharing those tools out to everybody that was at the event. So
beautiful.
And maybe even for podcast guests if they request it.
Okay, beautiful. And in this journal, there's a QR code on the final page. There's a laundry list of live links to a treasure trove of information on mindset and organizational culture. Because when you roll up, mindset as we define it based on our research is the collection of our habits, attitudes, beliefs, and expectations, our HABEs. And when you roll all of the HABEs up of all contributors in a company, that's organizational culture.
Sure.
So I have all kinds of resources in here, how to influence organizational culture as well.
Love it. So I'm excited that you're open to us sharing that out.
Absolutely.
You know, something I want to give people a little view under the covers here on you is you're a pro. You do this. This is your jam out there speaking, but you're still so focused in on the debrief. So that was so important to you to spend time with me. And there was feedback that I gave you on that where I said, Mark, the things that we're seeing this for the first time. So I'd like you to relate that to, I said, Mark, we're seeing this for the first time and we're not noticing any faux pas, any slips, anything like that, or anything missing or lacking. You as the person who does this on a daily basis, you're saying to yourself, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. Can you talk to me about, how leaders go through this, why it's important to debrief?
Yeah.
Okay. Even when the outside world is looking at you, that you're at the top of your game.
That is so beautiful. And thank you for asking. And you were just very complimentary about the experience yesterday. Debriefing is very important to do the postmortem. I'll use that term, or the after action review. We work with the military, and that is just, it's part of the protocol.
Sure.
Part of the protocol. I mean, Thunderbirds. We work with the Thunderbirds, those pilots. I mean, it's always the after action review.
Yeah.
But it's not about the focus.
And you do an after. I mean, just back to the military. You do an after action review, whether the mission was positive or negative.
Always, right. Always take ownership, extreme ownership. Jocko Willink. I mean, we're all about that. Okay, I'm all about that too, because if I don't not only eat my own dog food, but model the very behavior that I believe, or the beliefs that I believe should exist in other leaders, model it, and then mentor others as I'm trying to help others and hold them accountable. Model, mentor, monitor. Then I'm not being that genuinely empathetic individual that we talked about I've transcended into. 35 years old, transactionally oriented, still empathetic. Now it's the true essence of making sure that it's active listening. This is what I've shared. Tell me what you heard. Making sure that you own it so you can use it. Okay. Now coming back to your question, I read a daily devotional. It's called Oasis in the Desert, 365 days a year, and it's a Christian daily devotional, and it is life-giving to me. And I've been doing it for same readings, I think 22 years. A friend gave it to me, and I call him on the anniversary of the new year, and I've got it all marked up. It's actually in my bag. And it's dog-eared and highlighted and color, because it's changed my life. And one of the passages in that daily devotional was about burning the dross, D-R-O-S-S, burning the dross out of metal or off of metal, the pasteurization, the purification of metal to create steel, And I won't go into all the details, but I embrace that notion of refining fire, not in an intervention way, like in a punitive way, like I'm scolded, like there's a problem here. No. How can I make sure that I'm on my growth edge, not to overwhelm me or to burn me out, but just to continue to be that best version of myself, ad mundum valorem, towards a better world. So yesterday, I knew that witching hour was 11:30, and I knew that we modified time along the way, and I knew that it was 11:34, 11:36, whenever I passed you back the microphone. So in my debriefing, as I'm burning off the dross of my metal's tough, but I want to make it stronger. I want to make it steel. I did my own postmortem in my own mind and verified it with you this morning. And that was the point that you didn't even know what the guy was talking about. There was an exercise at the end that I might not, the next time I'll give it a haircut. I won't say, okay, share with your neighbor, and then and then let's do and then what'd you come up with? It won't be a team teaching moment. I needed to give, in retrospect, I needed to do that one less time, because then we would have been able to make up time and then serve the purpose of timeliness with the goodbye. It didn't matter to you at all in retrospect this morning, but I just wanted to do that. I wanted to burn off some dross.
Give me a quip or a line or a mental framework that you could give to a business leader who's going through the same type of thing. We did this for a customer. We want to debrief with them. We don't know if it's good or bad from their mind. Help me understand, one, the attitude that you came into that with, and then just the quip or the teaching tool that someone could walk in the day after an event, the day after onboarding of a customer, the day after something's delivered, and what would that teaching be?
The teaching is always do it with someone you trust. Don't ever do it outside of the trust bond of either the organization, your teammates, because I would have never done that with a customer. I would have never done that in a postmortem with no. It's family business. And so it is going to be, because we did the Scotoma exercise yesterday, and how many different answers but there were all different answers in the room.
Always, yes.
It wasn't about getting the right answer. The fact is, everybody sees things differently.
Correct.
And in a group setting, someone's going to see a perspective that is more right, more accurate, more appropriate. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for achievement. We're looking to win together. So it is a group huddle, and then it is servant leadership. I'm a first amongst equals here, and then I stand down because I'm going to listen to you, because you're going to lead the charge, saying, Mark, no, that's okay. Actually, it was good that you did that, because in my setting there was breakthrough.
Yes,
with someone that went through that final step, and we would have missed it if we were more concerned about the timeliness. And we weren't even controlling timeliness. It was the venue. Right. So you do it in a trusted, very much like Lencioni, and with your "I love me" wall. I love, because this talks about your soul. This is a reverse role, change the narrative. But I love your "I love me" wall. Patrick Lencioni is up on. 5 dysfunctions of a team.
Yep.
The base is trust. Also, Covey, I don't think Covey is up there, but Stephen M.R. Covey, I had the good fortune to be a warm-up act for him. Speed of trust. I mean, you need to create the trust bond. Otherwise, everything else fails.
Sure.
So that's the teaching. You debrief with those that have your 6 military. Got my 6. Okay, and then you coach forward. It's never about you know, you don't want to focus on the rock in the road. I teach teleological. How did I teach my kids before I knew this information, when I taught them to ride a two-wheel bicycle, I remember every Saturday morning I would get them out there and hold the back of their seat, and they're wobbling down the sidewalk, and I'd let them go after running behind them holding their seat. And I'd always tell them, look out for the big crack on the left side of the sidewalk. Where did the kid go every time?
Right,
exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, see the stop sign at the end of the sidewalk? Focus on that. So what are we doing with our teams?
Right.
Oh, we tell them to focus on the crack. Remember the crack? Remember you hit it the last time, remember? Oh, they're going to remember it physiologically. No, got to teach, got to talk. Stop sign.
Yeah.
Stop sign not meaning stop. Stop sign meaning that's our place. That's where we're going to focus. So it is coaching forward. The next time, yeah, you're right, but no. It worked out for the best. Don't change anything.
Yeah.
Just refining fire.
It's interesting. The first debrief that we got from one of our sponsors was a fellow who's we're very close with him.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're on the inside together.
Yeah.
And he's from the military. He comes from a military background, West Point. And so why would he be the first person, right? That's in his DNA.
Oh, interesting.
Right? A debrief. What are we going to do better next time?
There you go.
Right? Right.
I never knew that.
Not we're never going to do this together again, right? This is the circle of trust. This is, hey, here's a few things that we need to fix for next time, and we're going to do it.
Played out.
And we did great.
What I just shared
played right out.
Cool.
Yep. What else do you think you want to talk about today?
You.
Yeah.
That was unequivocated.
Oh, yeah.
Your I Love Me wall. It is so special. Please share. Between Rodney Dangerfield on the set of Caddyshack, I am an absolute fan. I'm a groupie. And
I heard you moved to the golf course there.
It was Rolling Hills in South Florida. It's now the Nova Southeastern University golf course, but I know it fondly. Gosh, I love that movie. Used to know every line. We've got Jimmy Buffett. We've got Warren Buffett, Patrick Lencioni.
Yeah.
And then Jesus Christ. I mean, I just said it. So it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's you, bro. And there's others there too. But I'm just so, I wear this little pin to remind myself of the importance between mindset as we teach, but heart set.
Sure.
Mindset and heart set. Being an intelligent heart. And my friend, you are an intelligent heart.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And by the power vested in me, I am coronating you today.
All right.
An intelligent heart in order to help me continue the movement.
Well, I appreciate that. I will wear it with pride.
Blessings. Thank you. That to me is an intelligent heart wall.
I appreciate that. Yeah, each of those has some deep meaning to me and a reminder of how I behave. So
continue.
I will.
And the question, question behind the question. Well, tell us more about that.
Tell us more about that.
Give me the notepad.
Which one?
Now.
You want me to give you a little quip on each of them?
Tell us about Warren Buffett.
So Warren Buffett, make sure you keep that contrarian mindset. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. So that reminder of if the whole flock is afraid, pause for a second and say, why? What? Maybe there's an opportunity here. That's the one. But also
that is
just
so special.
Just that he, no matter what he accomplished financially, he's just a simple guy, right? He just likes his simple things, and so
my brother, I was in Omaha for business. I went and found his house, and it's on a simple street.
Yep.
It's a pretty house. I took a picture of it because that's Mecca
Yep.
for me. That is just absolutely beautiful. And trading on what you just said, one of his famous lines is, make sure you have a belt and suspenders on. What is it? No, if you take too much risk, I'm paraphrasing and I'm killing it. But when the tide goes out, those that were too risky,
right?
You'll know their shorts are going to be down below their knees when the tides go out. Go out. Now trading on that, then you have you have Jimmy Buffett.
Yep.
That's an interesting juxtaposition. Why Jimmy?
So my wife and I are big Jimmy Buffett fans. Yeah. Our wedding song is happily ever after every now and then. Okay. So it's like, hey, this reality that we want to be happy, right? But hopefully it's just for here and there. It would be great because we can't expect everything all the time. But no,
after being married, how many years?
Many. You're putting me on the spot. 15.
Okay, God bless you, 4 kids.
15, yes.
Yeah, and she is so lovely.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, great. Truly. And then you got Jesus. We got to talk about Jesus. Why Jesus?
The reminder that we're all forgiven. So there's always another chance.
Reconciliation.
Yep.
Blessings. Back to you, boss.
Okay. You want me to take the rest of them, or what do you want me to do? This is your show. So go.
I don't want to have to cover payroll on Friday, at least not here.
Well, I'll give you a couple others. So Ziglar says you can get anything in this world that you want if you help enough people get what they want. So I'll stop on that one, because when I'm doing those events there, it is my true pleasure of if I'm meeting somebody, I'm trying to figure out, let me just listen well enough that I can introduce you to 1 or 2 people that might make a difference in your life.
And you do.
And so like when we do an event, I'm happy if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, Matt, I met so-and-so at that event," or "Hey, Matt, me and Bill met and, now we're buddies," or "Now we're doing business together." And so I try to think about that with my employees here, and teammates. How can I help them get what they want out of life? If I can help them, I guarantee good stuff happens for me.
You are so genuine. I feel it. I feel it.
Oh, thanks.
And now everybody that I drop your name now quite a bit. I probably got to send you checks. I need your direct deposit number. But everybody says he's just such a wonderful human. What a connector. And I saw it yesterday play out. Yeah. I mean, you are manifesting your own destiny, Tony Robbins saying, but it seems though you're living your dream because you love a communion of people.
Yep.
That are very much like you. I felt a lot of great spirit in that room yesterday.
Yeah.
So you, very much like Jesus, you are a gatherer, and it's a communion, right? A sharing of that spirit.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't feel like I don't need constant nursing from all those people, but I need to make sure that I know them well enough that I can do something for them.
How beautiful.
And and I just know that they always have me in their heart and in their mind, and good things happen because of that.
I saw it. I felt it yesterday. So, extended family.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of that, when you get the docs from my attorney, just sign them because you're going to adopt me now.
Oh,
Don't read the fine print.
Good. Yeah, we were looking for a 63-year-old. You're tall, so you could change a light bulb or two.
Well,
so
by the way, it's very much
useful.
It's very much like the dog that I saw, part of the family. I'll just hang around like the golden, right?
Yeah, there's a dog in the office today, and came to greet Mark, and so we owe you a lint brush for that. I think.
That is too funny.
You have those around the funeral home, right? Kleenex
always,
and lint
always
brushes.
Fans, yeah. You're the funniest guy that never told a joke, I swear. You don't tell, but you're funny as all get out.
Oh, jeez, thanks.
What is it? It's the emotional. I don't know if that's an emotional dog, but I could be the emotional family member.
There you go.
Emotional support.
There you go. Yeah, you're welcome anytime. You're welcome anytime. So
just keep
thanks.
me on a leash.
I think we've covered a lot. I mean, I'm happy to talk for a day and a half here now, but we can wrap it up if you're ready, or we can talk about anything else you'd like to talk about.
No, I feel blessed and honored.
Likewise.
I'm so grateful for this connection.
Me too.
And I believe it's a God wink. I'll say it.
I
with
agree.
Jesus staring, was Jesus part of the meeting here? And the best is yet to come. That's how we'll end.
I agree. Well, thanks again, Mark, and thanks for the pin.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.